Get my 6. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Homesteading Off the Grid. So what am I doing here? Somewhere different location here on my property. Keeping an eye in this area. It's a very peculiar area. There's like 3 ley lines across right here. Some really weird stuff goes on right here. Picked up so many strange things here recently on a trail camera at night. Listen, let's give something away. Ta-da! Isn't this cute? I made this little wood cookie snowman, snow girl, snow person. Got it tied together with that string there. This is going to Anna Burrow from the great state of Mississippi. Anna Burrow is receiving this. I made this, and we got plenty just like this and very similar to it. I'm working on some new stuff there in the wood shop. These are on our Etsy store. But Anna submitted a story to us for the True Hauntings series that was worthy of movie script material. Now, I'm not going to tell you what story it is because she asked to remain anonymous. She doesn't want people knowing that this was her, and she was very forthcoming with some very personal, traumatic experiences she had as a young person. And so I get it. I totally understand it. And so I'm not going to out her, and I'm not even going to tell you which volume her story is in. Volume 2, by the way, we now have in print here, so you can get autographed copies of these from the Etsy store. The link's in the description box below. Now, I can't read you her story, having just said these things, but let me tell you, it's one that was submitted, like many that are really movie script material. And so she is our random winner. And if you would like to be considered for a random drawing, not daily, but 3 or 4 times a week, it's looking like we're doing here, just simply send us your story. It doesn't have to be movie script material. It can be simple. We've had people turn in stories that are 150, 200 words long. That's like 3/4 of a page. We ask that you keep them, max 1,000 words. We get some of those, and they're good stories, the people that are sending them. Like Charlie in England, I want to give him a shout out. I feel bad for our friends in other countries because I don't ship typically international because the fees are so high. The USPS went way up on international fees. Charlie recently submitted a story that we finally gotten to edit. It's going to be part of True Hauntings Volume 3, which may be out before Thanksgiving, the way you guys keep turning in stories. Movie worthy, totally movie worthy, and I believe the next time I do make a video, I'm going to read his story. It's that good. So Charlie, if you're watching, make sure you watch the video as well, the next one after this. If you got a story, just send it in to the channel. The email address is crazylake@mail.com, crazylake@mail.com. So what am I doing here today? I'm procrastinating. I'm supposed to be finally bringing in firewood because I think we had one night get below freezing here recently, but the last couple nights it has been getting down into the mid to upper 30s. And it's mid-November, and usually we would have been burning for 6 weeks by now. You remember when I showed you my new saw? I talked about how I love it because it's my favorite color, because my favorite work gloves are the same color. It's true. And this Natiti saw, by the way, is still on its first charge. It comes with 2 power packs. Yeah, of course, there's a link in the description box below because I'm now an affiliate dealer of these things, an affiliate. And so yeah, I'm getting a commission for all of you who keep buying these things. I want to say thank you for that. I appreciate that. But I just ate lunch, and usually I let my food settle before I do anything, but part of that usually involves falling asleep in a hammock, and I don't want to do that just yet because I want to get this wood in. Because I've got a bunch more that Miss Dearly and I stacked this morning. Did you watch that video from her channel? Her channel's called Life with Dearly. We stacked wood. Well, we worked together, so we got like 4 truckloads stacked in like an hour. Then I split some more. But there's a lot of work, so I'm trying to not do my typical procrastination thing. So I'm making a video which will slow down the wood hauling process. So I kind of get to procrastinate a little bit by working at a slower pace, make a video, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Let me simulate a tree knock to see if we can get any sort of action going on back here, because I'm already seeing movement back in this area right here. And yes, I see that large dark figure. Potentially. Do you hear that? We had an almost immediate reply. Almost immediate reply. Did you hear it? It was faint. It's out there in the forest, just a little ways. And yes, I am getting to what we're talking about how if this ever happens again, I am permanently deleting this channel forever. That's true. That's just some clickbait title. More about that here in a minute. Did you hear it? Hear it. There it is again. We totally have one back there responding to us. Let's try it again. This is great. Just as we got a potential Bigfoot Sasquatch back here in the forest communicating with us by way of tree knocks, I think they're coming to bring me my propane. Damn it. Did you hear that? It knocked first. Yeah, the propane's here. Okay, guys, listen. I'm going to stack some wood, wait for that truck to leave, and then I'm going to start recording again, and we're going to see if we can get this. Wow, this is incredible. All right, I'll be right back. Be right back after this commercial break. Does your back hurt from stacking way too much firewood than you should as an older person, somebody who's maybe not old but older? Then you should take Amazon Basic Care Ibuprofen, 500 tablets for only $12.52, which is $3 per, wait a minute, which is 3 cents per tablet versus the leading brand name, not sponsored, $38.33 for the same amount, which is almost 8 cents per tablet. You hear them? They're knocking even during the commercial break, even with that big truck coming back my driveway. Today's video is also partly brought to you in sponsorship by Amazon gift cards. These are cool because you can buy them and you can either print them from home, you can email them, or you can get a physical actual card in amounts from $1 up to $2,000. The links for all these products will be in the description box of this video below. Are you still with me after that very long commercial break? Cheesy commercials aside, you have no clue how much time just passed. Look, I got all the wood I wanted. I just get 2 rows. That one will fill the wood rack in the house, and then this one will fill the rack on the back porch. Any hair in my head that was not gray when that propane man showed up is now gray. I'm convinced of it. That's how long he was here. I'm sure we got our angle, yeah. Why? What took so long? He's usually in and out in 5 minutes. My beautiful bride, Dearly, a.k.a. Giggly Girl, bless her heart, decided to come out and say hi. She's always fascinated by the stuff that involves big trucks, like a kid. We cooked with wood in the Philippines. The 6 years I lived there, the last year to a year and a half that I lived there, we were affluent by Filipino standards, which means we cooked on a gasol, which is where you take a little propane tank like this, like you'd use for a grill here, and hook it up to a tiny little, usually a 2-range gas thing inside there. And when you're out of propane, there's a propane shop on every corner. If you live in the city, you just go replace it. Well, here, you know, it's different. We belong to a co-op, so they come out about twice a year, and you bring this huge truck, and wouldn't you know it, it happens when we're getting some activity. Him, her, it, or they may have crept in a little bit closer. while that was going on. But my point is, she comes out to watch the truck and say hi. All right, the delivery guy's like 60-ish. What's going to happen when this beautiful young Asian woman comes out to say hi to any healthy freaking dude? What should take 5 minutes becomes 40 minutes. I'm not exaggerating. I got the wood stacked, and I'm like, why is that truck still here? I look over to the house. Dude's in the kitchen. She's feeding him. No kidding. Oh, my gosh. Hold on. You know, Bigfoot Sasquatch, you only get opportunities like this under certain circumstances. There's like fog on your lens, there's rain on your lens, and so you get a blurred image, or you upload videos in 360p, even though it's 2022. Or you're clearly getting them to communicate with you, and then a freaking utility truck comes in and scares them off. Oh my gosh. You know, I had something meaningful to say. I came out to make a meaningful video about a meaningful subject or topic. And Bigfoot Sasquatch shows up and changes everything. What the hell was it I was even going to talk about? Let's see, buy the nativity saw, and yes, I get paid a commission. That's your disclosure. The link's in the description box below. I discussed that already. Gosh, make sure you're going to Amazon and getting all the True Hauntings volumes and all my other books in print or Kindle. And they're available with an autograph from the Etsy store. The link's in the description box below. I talked about that. Oh, yeah, the Amazon, I did that. The ibuprofen gift cards, did that. Gave Anna Burrow her little toy. Well, it's not a toy. I mean, kind of, sort of, but it's like, it's a Christmas decoration, man. You could put that on your tree. I did that. Gosh, you know, I had something so meaningful to talk about today. And then potentially, okay, I'll use that word. You got to use that word in this field, just like you use the word allegedly when something may or may not have happened. Somebody may or may not have done something. Bigfoot Sasquatch shows up and changes everything. I know this was part of it. I was going to plug somebody's channel. I was going to plug Counselor's Couch 101, because what I was going to talk about was so deep, and it had something to do with kind of some of the stuff I talked. You're going to have to go watch my wife's channel, because I discussed it on there today. Her channel's Life with Dearly. I know I already plugged that. But we were stacking firewood, and of course, me being the lazy guy that I am, I kind of like took a long-winded break. But it was about social media. There was something specific I was going to discuss, and it'll come to me, and if so, I'll make another video and read Charlie's story from England. But I mentioned it in her video. I'm going to mention it here. I get communications from YouTube about how the channel's doing, blah, 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 all that stuff. I take it all with a grain of salt, because listen, I know what I'm doing. That's why I'm here. Okay. And I made the mistake of actually thinking some things had changed, and they approached me about passing a plate this summer, and I didn't do it. And so things have changed for me. So I had to just take on some affiliate marketing jobs. But it was this. It was in regards to the algorithm and what sort of content goes viral, what sort of videos gets views. And basically, it boils down to this. Like, there's so much garbage on social media. Lady Gaga calls social media the gutter of the internet, and I completely agree with her 100%. Because Dearly and I were stacking firewood that we get for free from particular neighbors of ours. And I was talking about how like the majority, like 90% of our neighbors are wonderful people, the ones we know. Even many that we've never met, we see them, they're always waving high and by when we're jogging or biking or whatever. They don't all try to run me over, just the one. But I simplified that, or took care of that, by just not running during that time of day anymore on the road. I go at different times, I go different places. But see, this was the point. Everybody says, like, you want to hear the stories about the neighbors who we never asked for anything, but who give us all more firewood than we can burn. We've got 2 years worth here already, but you know, this red oak takes a while to season, and the more it seasons, the better it burns anyway. We've got a guy on one side of our property had a tree fall recently, and the majority of it came onto our property. You know what he did? He came over and cleaned it up, even though it wasn't even his responsibility. Because once it falls onto somebody else's property, it's their responsibility. That's how it works in homeowners insurance policies. But he knows we work very hard to keep our place clean and looking like a resort. And so he took it upon himself, and he didn't even mention it. Just one day the tree's gone. And he did it. And I didn't mind him. You know, it wasn't an issue of trespassing. We're on good terms with this guy. And I let him know if you ever need anything, because he's older. He's older. That's another thing. Dude's in his 70s, and he came over with his chainsaw and cleaned up a tree. Wonderful people. There are people out the other way whose kids ride our kids' bus, and we've got this ongoing agreement that if, you know, you ever can't get your kid in time, or we're not here to get our kid in time, give a text, give a call. Well, we got each other's backs. That's the story of 90% of the folks that we live around. You've never heard me talk about those people. And the reason why is because those videos would get 6 views. You know, I've got one neighbor that's a sociopath. He's committed stolen valor, claimed to be in the military when he wasn't. His wife's a complete lunatic. As lunatic-ish as him. She's got borderline personality disorder. She gaslights heavily. I mention them off and on, and when I do, and I used to do it in the past because I needed the views. Wanted the views, got the views, and then of course the hate collector. But here's the deal. Here's the point. And this is one of the things I hate about social media. And it said it in the communique that I got from YouTube today. It's about the algorithm. Everybody's always trying to figure out, how do I make a viral video? How do I get a video to go like millions of views, and so this can be my job and I don't have to have a real job? Listen, the algorithm finds, it doesn't take your video you create. Like, this video won't go viral because there's not any garbage in here. I made like one statement about the sociopath and BPD wife, and I just mentioned the hate collector. I never even said any gory details about him. There's not enough negative content in here that people will latch onto to watch the video for a long enough period to where the algorithm will pick it up and make it go viral. I'm talking about my good neighbors. The people that give us winter's worth of supplies of free red oak. Sometimes they split it. Everything that I just put in my truck right here. When we came home from our cross-country trip this summer, when we took 2 weeks and drove out to the Grand Canyon and Colorado and a bunch of other places, this was waiting on me. They don't only just give us logs. Sometimes they cut it and split it and bring it down here and stack it just because the dude enjoys doing it, him and one of his sons. You couldn't ask for better neighbors. The old dude that, you know, cleans up the tree when it fell onto my property, unlike sociopath who will let shit fall everywhere and doesn't clean it up at all. Certainly hay collector. You're not going to get any favors from him. Remember, he used to take his bush hog and actually push it down into my ditch line to carve a big wide scratch across the thing and say it was the state's right of way, so I couldn't do nothing about it. If I talked about the assholes like them, every video I made would go viral. And once upon a time I did, and once upon a time that was the case. I dropped the glove. You know what? Thought I was joking, didn't you? Thought I was joking. You hear that? I think him, her, it, or they is sneaking back up on us here. You hear them footsteps? I think they didn't knock back because they don't want us to know how close they've gotten. I think him, her, it, or they may have used that truck as a distraction to creep in closer, catch me unawares. So let me duck down a little bit here so you can see the tree line better. But my point is this, people, get to the point, will you? People are always bitching and complaining about all the garbage on social media, and they're like, why do you make that video? And I said it in my wife's video today. You know what our favorite videos to make are? The ones like we made today on her channel, where me and her out here doing stuff. We're spending time together. It's positive. We're getting exercise. We like to make the videos where we go walking in the woods with our son. Used to do that here all the time. But we have bills to pay too. And so for the longest time, and this is behind me now, I'm talking about past, I almost stopped doing what I do and went back and got a real job, even though that is terrifying to me, the idea of having a real job, having to actually go somewhere and work. You don't get that time back you spend driving. They don't pay for your gas. And then plus you have to work with other people, which I don't do well with. But I was almost going to do it because I'd gotten to a point to where if I didn't come out and talk about childhood trauma, abuse, toxic relationships from my past, asshole neighbors who were sociopaths and claimed to have been in the Navy, even though they never were in the military and all that crap. As a veteran, that you take that personal. You take that quite personal. I'm not just some dude. I'm someone who did serve, and I'm someone who went to war. So you're not going to lie to me about that. Okay, and think I'm just going to think you misspoke or it was a misunderstanding, especially when you do it 6 times. And your wife doesn't get away with it either when she stands there and listens to you do it and says nothing to point out the fact that you're lying. You got a good criminal accomplice there. But those were the kind. So you see that? I was talking about that. It's getting me a little bit angry because I know what it's like to go to a combat zone and know every single day. My wife just watched a movie yesterday called something about 12, the 12 or something, where these guys went into Afghanistan after 9/11 and did a lot of the boots on the ground black ops stuff to find out where the training camps were. And she was like, you know what I got out of that movie? I was like, well, I didn't watch it with her because I don't read war books. I don't watch war movies. I used to until I went to war. That changed everything. But she's like, I couldn't imagine what that's like, knowing every day that might be the last day you live. I'm like, yeah, it was like that every day for a year in Iraq. Did you not know that? She goes, no, I've never been in that situation. How could I? But somehow there was something in that movie where she was able to pick up on that. And then I explained to her, I said, do you understand now why guys like me and my battle buddies, when we hear a guy like Dick over there claiming to have served in the military when they didn't, that you just got from that movie was something we actually experienced. And then to hear somebody claim to have done that when they didn't, and she's like, yeah, I get it. I can see why you want to punch him in the face. And I'm like, yeah. So, but just talking about that brings up those negative emotions. And when I would make those videos, that would happen. And I got tired of it. I got sick and tired of it. And I was ready to leave this and get a real job again, as much as that sucked, just so I wouldn't have to do that, because there's nothing healthy about that. But we happened to meet in the middle with other things we had going on. Book sales, the Etsy shop, woodwork, Dearly's food, some passive investments we have that have nothing to do with social media that are doing well, despite the economy. You know, when you can separate your own emotions from your own money, bad economies are excellent times. Excellent opportunities are presented. So it all worked out to where we don't have to. There were a lot of folks who were coming to the channel to hear that crap. They wanted to hear about asshole neighbors. They wanted to hear about mentally ill parents who never got help, who viewed their own children as their life's mortal enemies. And I think a lot of it is because they were in this situation. They had these experiences. They're still having these experiences. But here's the difference between me and those people, and this is why the views have dropped off. I moved past that for a reason, because that kind of stuff sucked. And I didn't want to re-dig up those emotions associated with those past experiences. So I stopped. And I knew I was risking going out of business as a social media content creator in doing so, because what YouTube told me yesterday in regards to the algorithm, I already knew. People want the shit show. They want, like Lady Gaga calls this the gutter of the internet, they want the gutter. The problem with going into the gutter, even just to serve an audience, and you could see it when I was talking about that asshole that commits stolen valor. When you go into the gutter, you're going to get dirty. You have to re-dredge that stuff back up. You have to relive conversations you may have had years ago that you're past, but you're doing it because you think you're helping somebody. You're doing it because you're looking for views. That's how you get paid. But you continue to do damage for old wounds that have healed if you've allowed them to heal. But when you scratch the top off, scratch off the scar, or pick off the scab, you're bleeding again. I was no longer willing to do that, and so I stopped. And now, what I'm saying here, where'd all those people go? You mean people aren't going to watch your channel, Kevin, if you don't talk about those terrible experiences? Yeah. Why? Because some people don't want to get better. Why? Because it hurts so good. I reconnected with some folks from my past that I'd been away from for quite some time, and we got together a few times, and I have no desire to do it again ever. I'm not saying I won't. I'm not angry with the folks. I'm not saying they're not welcome at my place. What I'm saying is they had a tendency to want to sit around and just dredge up the terribleness of the old days. Well, all that did was, in my mind, take me back to the terribleness of the old days, and that's not a place I want to be. So when you create more wholesome content, when you show videos of a healthy family that is not toxic, that actually enjoys spending time together, nobody wants to watch it. They don't care. They don't want to see it. And you're saying, but that's what the world needs. Yes. And I've said it in Dearly's video this morning. That's exactly what the world needs. But it's not what the world wants. You ever heard it said, you might not get what you want, but you get what you deserve? Look at how people are living. I don't want to be too personal here, but we have friends, married couples who we know are absolutely miserable being married to each other. The woman's a great girl. The guy's a great guy. He's not beating her. She's not cheating on him. They're just miserable. They are not happy. It's mountains of little things that have piled up and piled on for years that have gotten it to where our friends, these couples that we know, and it's so more than one. If you're some of our friends and you're watching, don't think I'm singling you out, because I'm not. This seems to be the majority of married couples in this country these days. You've basically got people who are together, but they're living apart. We know people who have the same jobs, work in the same building, similar jobs, same building, come and go to work at the same time of day, within 10 to 15 minutes of each other. And despite gas prices being where they are, take separate cars, because they can't stand being in the car with each other alone, just them, for the 12 minutes to 20 minutes it might take to get to work. So they take separate cars. And it's not because, well, one's going to go here after work or one's got to go there during the day. That can all be arranged. It's because they can't stand being together. And this is more than one couple. I'm not singling out, and these are my friends I'm talking about, okay? My parents were like this. Always looking for somewhere to be when the other one's on the way home. So if the wife's home and the husband texts, hey, I'm coming home, it's like, shit, what errands can I run so I don't have to be in the same house with this guy? Same thing with the guy. He's been home all day, not really doing anything, but he knows the wife's coming home from wherever she's been. He's like, shit, what can I do to not have to be here when she's home? Many of these couples, they will never argue. They will never fight. They will go to social gatherings, social events. They will spend time together in public, and you'd never think for a minute that was their situation. But it is. And so I've got to wrap this up. I forgot what I was even coming out to talk about. I came out here to talk about something meaningful, and then Bigfoot Sasquatch changed everything. Him, her, it, or they, and then my wife, and the freaking gas guy. But again, it hurts so good. It hurts so good. Some people love the misery so much they don't want it to change. And a lot of folks, they don't want to go through the ordeal or the hassle of a divorce. Many of these folks we know are already on their second marriages, and they don't want to have the stigma of having been divorced twice. Because you know what they say. They say, oh, the first time everybody screws up. But if you get divorced again, maybe there's something wrong with you. Well, they don't want... No, it's like sometimes people just... You live once. Me and Dearly were talking about this today. These people are living as if they are in a prison that has no walls. It's like they're on permanent probation. Their sentence is that they are not allowed to live a life filled with joy. A life filled with joy, which is certainly different than happiness. Happiness is an emotion that's contingent upon a condition. The outcome of a situation, for example. If your team wins the football game, if the Cavaliers win, yay, I'm happy. If not, well, then I'm not so happy. That's happiness. Joy is a state of being. Joy comes from, for me, having a wife and a son who love me conditionally, who I know, despite my flaws, despite mistakes that I do make and I will make in the future, they will continue to accept me and love me unconditionally. The fact that we have perfect health because we're active. We don't put toxins in our body. We don't eat cancer. That's what some people call ice cream, junk food, all that stuff. Have a sweet tooth, but I keep it in check. Exercise. I don't have a lot of friends, and it's intentional, but the ones I do have are... They bring me a winter's worth of firewood, cut, split, and stacked. I mean, everybody is deserving of this, and everybody can have this. They can go out there and get it. So many people forfeit. They forfeit by staying in relationships they clearly should not be in because of what other people might think, because of a stigma they might take up because they've already failed once. So anyway, I gotta go stack this wood. I procrastinated enough. But these are some ideas that actually came to me, and this is my proof and point, by watching one of Jim Stump's latest videos here today on his channel, Counselor's Couch 101. And to prove it to you that this is not what the world wants, this is what the world needs, but it's not what they want, I started plugging Jim's channel, Counselor's Couch 101, this summer, tail end of summer, a couple months ago at least. He's got 322 subscribers. Now, I tell him, don't get discouraged because these are solid subscribers and there are people who are probably watching most of his videos. He's got a strong, solid base, and his channel's not going to be contingent upon, is there a mysterious creature that may or may not exist in the background? Or does he have an asshole neighbor that is coming over and stealing his hay or taking his trees and telling him there's nothing he can do about it? No, you know what? He's a licensed clinical social family, specializes in family counseling, and he is giving away golden nuggets worth of advice, information, wisdom on his YouTube channel for free. I thought he would get to 1,000 subscribers in a week, but he hasn't. He's only gotten 322. I watch his videos before I share them onto my community timeline. Every time he uploads a new video, I'll put it on here. Him and my buddy Travis Stagel over at Fighting Past 40, who was a veteran Green Beret, as a matter of fact, served in Afghanistan, Hooah, Army. A real one, not some dick that claims to be when he see that? And that just, there's no good that comes from taking negative anything and continuing to bring it up. And when it's but if you want to go viral on the internet, you do it. You'll make more money than you can spend. I guarantee it because I've been there and I know. Now, when that paycheck comes in, you'll be happy. You'll be happy on that day because it's a big paycheck, trust me. But that doesn't lead to joy. That actually detracts from joy. It takes away from it because every time you go down there in the gutter, you get dirty and it's just not worth it. And so that was my point. That's why I was originally going to call this video, if this ever happens again, I will permanently and forever delete my channel, something like that. You know, I came out to talk about something meaningful, but then Bigfoot Sasquatch came up and changed everything. Damn, now I got two titles to have to pick from because they both sound good. But I'll tell you this, if it came back down to me talking about the a-holes of the world and the people crapping on you on the world, the gaslighters and the liars and the scammers and the people who are defrauding the Social Security disability system to make a literal shit ton of money. If I ever had to do that again, I wouldn't. I would not do it again. I'm glad that we're at the point now with more than 2,000 videos on this channel to where we basically don't have to do anything and we can continue to live our current lifestyle because of the residual revenues generated from 2,000 videos, plus the affiliate marketing, book sales, and then again, they come in purple, they come in pink, this kind of stuff. Man, I tell you, it's soul crushing. So if you find that you're always angry or you're always discontent, what is it that you're putting into your eyes and into your ears, through your eyes and ears, into your brain? Find out what it is and stop. Just stop. You know, look for the Wholesome videos on YouTube. Go over to Counselor's Couch 101 and watch Jim Stump. You will, and you don't even have to pay for it. I mean, this kind of stuff is $200 an hour type material he's putting on there for free. And I think I've talked my way into nap time now. See you for more next time.